President Donald Trump extended a warm welcome to Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. at the White House, marking a significant diplomatic occasion that drew the attention of both nations and the world. The arrival of President Marcos Jr. was met with ceremonial honors, reflecting the deep respect and long-standing friendship between the United States and the Philippines. This visit marked a pivotal moment for U.S.-Philippine relations, as both leaders sought to reaffirm their country's historic alliance in the face of evolving global challenges. The display of both nations' flags and the presence of international media underscored the global significance of this meeting. Notably, President Marcos Jr. became the first Southeast Asian leader to visit President Trump during his second term, highlighting the Philippines' unique and strategic role in the region. This milestone visit underscored the alliance's enduring value and its importance in maintaining stability in the Asia-Pacific. The summit's agenda was ambitious, aiming to deepen security cooperation, expand economic partnerships, and foster innovation. Both nations recognized the need to adapt to new security threats and economic opportunities, aligning their strategies for a rapidly changing world. President Marcos Jr. was determined to secure concrete commitments from the United States, emphasizing that the U.S. remains the Philippines' most vital and reliable partner. He highlighted shared democratic values and mutual interests, seeking assurances on defense, trade, and people-to-people ties. The visit sent a clear and powerful message to the world. The U.S.-Philippine alliance is not only robust and adaptable, but also prepared to meet the demands of a new era. Both leaders expressed confidence in their ability to navigate future uncertainties together. Throughout their discussions, Trump and Marcos focused on building a forward-looking partnership, one that would promote peace, stability, and prosperity across Asia. They explored new avenues for collaboration in technology, education, and regional security. Their dialogue concluded with a renewed sense of trust and cooperation, setting the stage for a new era in U.S.-Philippine relations, one defined by shared goals, mutual respect, and a commitment to a brighter future for both nations. The Trump-Marcos summit unfolded amid rising Indo-Pacific tensions, with China's assertiveness looming large. The South China Sea remains a flashpoint, placing the Philippines at the center of maritime disputes. Both leaders stressed the need for a united front to uphold international law and freedom of navigation. The Philippines' strategic location makes it a linchpin for regional security and a key U.S. ally. The meeting reinforced America's ironclad commitment to Philippine defense. Security cooperation and economic strategy were intertwined, recognizing that stability is essential for prosperity. By strengthening their alliance, Trump and Marcos invested in long-term peace for the Indo-Pacific. Their joint message resolve, readiness, and a commitment to a free and open region. One of the most significant outcomes of the high-profile White House meeting was the announcement of a brand new trade agreement between the United States and the Philippines. This agreement, months in the making, was the result of intense discussions and careful negotiation, reflecting the evolving economic relationship between the two nations. At the heart of the deal were tariffs, those crucial taxes on imported goods that can shape the flow of trade and impact industries on both sides of the Pacific. Both countries recognized that the terms of these tariffs would have far-reaching consequences for their economies. President Trump initially took a hardline stance, threatening to impose a steep 20% tariff on all Philippine imports. This bold move set the stage for high-stakes negotiations, with both sides aware that the outcome would affect thousands of jobs and billions in trade. After days of back and forth, the final agreement established a 19% tariff, slightly lower than Trump's opening demand, but still a significant increase from previous rates. This compromise reflected the willingness of both parties to find common ground, even amid tough bargaining. President Trump publicly praised President Marcos, calling him a formidable and strategic negotiator. The talks, while competitive, were marked by mutual respect and a shared commitment to strengthening bilateral ties. In exchange for the new tariff rate, the Philippines reportedly agreed to eliminate or reduce tariffs on a select list of U.S. goods, including agricultural products and manufactured items. While the full details of these concessions are still being finalized, Both sides have signaled optimism about the benefits. For Philippine exporters, the higher tariff presents new challenges. Many businesses will need to adapt to increased costs and find ways to remain competitive in the U.S. market, potentially by innovating or seeking new trade partners. Meanwhile, American producers, especially farmers and manufacturers, stand to gain expanded access to the Philippine market. This could open up new opportunities for growth and job creation in the United States. The true impact of the agreement will depend on how effectively it is implemented and how both countries respond to shifting global trade dynamics. Economists and industry leaders will be watching closely to see whether the deal delivers on its promises. Both governments have framed the deal as a major step toward a more balanced and mutually beneficial economic partnership, emphasizing cooperation and shared prosperity. As the new framework takes effect, it will be closely monitored by businesses, policymakers, and analysts in both countries, all eager to see how this landmark agreement shapes the future of U.S.-Philippine trade relations. Defense and security were central to the Trump-Marcos meeting, with the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty reaffirmed. Both leaders committed to modernizing their alliance amid ongoing South China Sea disputes. U.S. officials pledged enhanced support for the Philippine military, focusing on modernization and joint exercises. Detailed talks covered intelligence sharing and interoperability, setting a roadmap for closer collaboration. Marcos expressed gratitude for U.S. support, emphasizing the alliance's growing depth. The goal, a resilient partnership capable of deterring threats and safeguarding regional stability. Increased joint operations and military aid signal unity and resolve. This proactive approach aims to prevent conflict and ensure long-term security in the Asia-Pacific. China's presence shaped every discussion at the White House, influencing not just security, but also trade, technology, and the broader landscape of global diplomacy. Every policy decision, every strategic move, seemed to be weighed against the backdrop of China's growing influence. The challenge was not just about competition, but about finding ways to coexist, cooperate, and, when necessary, confront. Trump and Marcos faced the delicate task of balancing engagement with Beijing while standing firm on regional stability and international law. Their meetings were marked by careful language, acknowledging China's role in the region, but also making it clear that the sovereignty and security of their nations would not be compromised. This balancing act required both flexibility and resolve as they navigated the shifting tides of Asian geopolitics. Trump hinted at a possible visit to China, signaling a dual-track strategy, one that combined open dialogue with a show of alliance strength. This approach was designed to keep communication channels open, reduce misunderstandings, and demonstrate that the U.S. was willing to engage, but not at the expense of its partners or its principles. The message was clear: cooperation was possible, but deterrence remained essential. Hosting Marcos at the White House sent a clear and unmistakable message of U.S. commitment to its allies in the Indo-Pacific. The ceremonial welcome, the joint statements, and the visible camaraderie all underscored the importance Washington placed on its relationship with Manila. It was a signal to both friends and rivals that the U.S. would stand by its partners. Marcos reiterated the Philippines' independent foreign policy, emphasizing the nation's right to engage with all major powers, but making it clear that the U.S. alliance remained a top priority. He spoke of shared values, mutual interests, and the importance of working together to address common challenges, from maritime security to economic development. The leaders agreed on a pragmatic approach: engage China where possible, push back when necessary, and always act in concert with allies. This consensus reflected a nuanced understanding of the region's complexities, recognizing that neither confrontation nor appeasement alone would suffice. Instead, they sought a path that balanced strength with diplomacy. Their approach seeks to avoid direct confrontation while preserving a free and open Indo-Pacific. Joint military exercises, increased economic cooperation, and coordinated diplomatic efforts all serve to reinforce this vision. The goal is to deter aggression, reassure partners, and maintain stability in one of the world's most dynamic regions. Together, The US and Philippines aim to manage disputes peacefully and uphold a rules-based order. By strengthening their alliance, investing in dialogue, and building coalitions with other like-minded nations, they hope to ensure that the Indo-Pacific remains a region of opportunity, not conflict, a place where nations can prosper side by side, even amid great power competition. Economic talks went beyond tariffs, focusing on invigorating the overall US-Philippine partnership. Both leaders aim to expand market access, boost investment, and create a predictable business environment. The potential elimination of Philippine tariffs on US goods could reshape trade dynamics. Even limited zero-tariff access would benefit American exporters and address trade imbalances. Stronger economic ties reinforce security commitments and mutual prosperity. Success depends on careful implementation and ongoing dialogue with business communities. The goal: a resilient, mutually beneficial economic relationship that can weather global uncertainties. Personal rapport between Trump and Marcos played a key role in the visit's success. Trump praised Marcos as a tough, skilled negotiator, framing talks as respectful and productive. Marcos expressed gratitude for US hospitality and reaffirmed the alliance's importance. Their mutual respect fostered a positive atmosphere, enabling compromise on tough issues. Strong personal chemistry helped solidify agreements on trade and security. Effective relationships between leaders can smooth diplomatic challenges and strengthen alliances. The visit showed that trust and direct communication can drive international cooperation. The Trump-Marcos meeting was a strategic event with Indo-Pacific-wide implications. Hosting Marcos first signaled the US prioritizes its Philippine alliance and reassures regional allies. The visit reinforced commitments on trade and security, addressing both immediate and long-term challenges. The new trade deal and defense pledges demonstrated shared resolve to tackle complex issues together. The unified stance sends a message to China: the US is reinvesting in its alliances. Diplomatic alignment, credible defense, and economic ties are the preferred strategy for regional stability. The visit reaffirmed the US-Philippines alliance as an anchor of peace and prosperity in Asia. As Marcos departs Washington, the US-Philippine alliance stands on firmer ground. The visit produced tangible agreements on tariffs and defense, moving beyond rhetoric. Implementation will be key. Both sides must turn commitments into action. Ongoing engagement and adaptability will define the partnership's future. The alliance serves as a model for balancing sovereignty with strong alliances in the Indo-Pacific. The Trump-Marcos meeting addressed security, trade, and stability with clarity and resolve. The path forward is one of renewed cooperation and a shared vision for a peaceful, prosperous region.